Allah.
You do have to be there. It's not a take-home. There's 5 passages, right? Fugard, Comrade. What else do we say? Great Expectations.
Without books.
Open notes. Bring the text in your mind. Now look over your notes to see what are the likely passages I'm going to ask you to write about. I'm not going to try to trick you or give you something minor here. They're going to be perfectly obvious major things. Thanks. I'll give you some choice, not a lot, but the things I think are going to be things that you write out at you and say, yes, of course, that's something important. But do check your notes and just look, use some common sense. Look through the importance, what's going on here, why is that an important passage in relation to general ideas in the work. Major themes. All right? So we'll get to it. 2 hours will be plenty. 8:30 to 10:30. You can make your plans after 10:30. I'll want your papers at 10:30. I don't expect leads and reams. I do expect cogent, thoughtful comments showing you looked over these works and informed about them. So let's look at the last half of this little play.
Okay.
Papers.
You said, is that on Monday?
Yeah. 28:30. Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't you call me? I'm presuming you're probably all right, but why don't you give me a call Sunday?
Okay.
It's only the first time, I suppose. I'll hope for the best.
So will I.
All right. You happen to know, is Pyatt taking the AP exam? We'll talk to him about that.
There it is. Asking yourself.
He's there. You're using your name in vain. Are you taking the AP exam?
Yes.
Just remember now, APers, you've got to be here at 7:30. There's a half hour of, I mean, that's especially important for you. You've got to be here. There's a half an hour of paperwork to go through before the exam starts, and it starts promptly at 8. You've got to be here. That means you bring your head roll or what, but make sure you're here. Monday, and I'm not sure that, Jordy, if you talked to Mr. Lauren about where it's going to be, it's not going to be in the library, because that's shut.
I think they're all in Horse.
I think that's right. All right, gentlemen, back to Fugard. Our present time to remember is 1950. Why pick that moment? Well, this play is very closely related to Fugard's own life, and in fact, he was just Halley's age in 1950. And some incident like this actually did occur in his life, so it's close to the nerve here. This is a horrible experience that Fugard himself went through. I'm not sure exactly how close. We'll know better shortly when my friend Albert Wertheim finishes his book on Fugard. Never really had a good skeletal book. But it's pretty close to actual fact. But 1950 is an important date, and I'd remind you why, because in 1948 a crucial election took place. The nationalist government came in. That's the party of the extreme reactionary white group, the Afrikaners. Not that the other whites were shining liberals, deeply sympathetic to blacks or anything like that. No, not a bit. But the customary segregation, apartheid in South Africa became much more strict, much more intensive and hostile to blacks than it had been. So that these black men we meet here are looking forward to lives, they can tell by them what it's going to be like, even bleaker than the lives they've lived up to this point. That's important. It's something that Fugard doesn't need to preach to a South African audience, the audience he wrote this play for. All right, we're picking up at the end of that wonderfully eloquent speech by Sam, remember on 46? About dancing as a metaphor, ballroom dancing as an example of the perfect harmony that we'd all like life to give us, where collisions don't occur anymore. Political collisions, racial collisions, family collisions, all very important in this play, particularly the family collisions. And Hallie, who's been gradually, step by step, drawn into Sam's vision of ballroom dancing here, as Sam dramatizes it for him. And I'd stress, Sam dramatizes it. He makes a work of art out of his vision of ballroom dancing. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little, but the way he moves Hallie is not just by abstract argument, but by saying, picture it, imagine it, see what it's like emotionally. Can't you grasp as a living experience, if you lend your imagination to the scene I'm picturing for you, what this would mean to that audience? And of course, he's also saying, Hallie, you're white. This is a big gap, but think about what that means, especially for black people, to go through an experience like that. Think about, he doesn't say this, but think of the life we lead, and therefore what this moment, artificial and evanescent as it may be, what does that mean to us? What kind of hope does that give us? What sort of symbolic drama is being played out here? Think of the emotional meaning that has for us. Think of the meaning it should have for all South Africans, for all men. And don't you think that part of what Sam is trying to teach Hallie is to overcome the automatic racial divisions, the automatic stereotypes, reflexes that, of course, Hallie's been brought up with? I mean, there we have a real parallel with Huck Finn. You think of all the times that we watch Huck battling in his mind between Southern racism, saying, that's a nigger, play a trick on him, demean him, turn him into authority, see somebody's property, and obviously the other side of Huck, which becomes dominant, but never completely dissolves Southern prejudice in his novel. And Twain is very unsentimental like that. That boy is always going to be torn between two impulses in his mind, but basically, obviously, he eventually becomes someone Jim can count on. It's a tough battle. I think Sam is trying to be angry with Mom. Says how sick he is of emptying chamber pots. Dad stealing the money he needed for a science book. Vicious to Mom, but Dad's drinking and stealing. Now, please notice, too, he does tell us later in the play, remember, he says to Sam, I love you, Sam. It's not that he just hates his father. Look at the contrast in 49 when he starts to talk to his father. Now, sure, partly this is playing a little role, isn't it? Well, we get a very sharp contrast. And the actor has to play this role so that we feel both, got to cover up that hostility I was just showing to Mom, which is very deep and real, but there's also this other side of what I feel about Dad. I don't think of him simply as that nasty guy I can't stand having around. That's part of it. But it's also, we're supposed to sense genuine emotional conflict. Welcome home, chum! Oh, don't be silly, Dad! You being home just about the best news in the world! I bet you are bloody depressing. They've never been going on about their ailments. Hey, how you feeling? Oh, good. Oh, yeah, just a day for a kip and a toss at your old Uncle Ned. Have a bite and take a nap. Well, nice pile of comic books for you here on the counter. Yeah, Batman and Robin, Submariner, all stuff I read when I was that age. Just your cup of tea? Is this supposed to be ironic? No, I don't think he's supposed to say it on that tone. No, we can hear it as ironic, especially right after Sam's discussion about world events, authors they've read together. Okay, chum, see you in a little while. Back to bitter negativity, the end of the speech. Oh, the brandy. Yes, I'll remember. I'll put it in my suitcase now, for God's sake. I know well enough what'll happen if he doesn't get it. Swing of the pendulum. This kid who's constantly swaying emotionally, torn by his different feelings. And the silence here at the end of that conversation is really crucial. Silence on stage can be wonderfully effective. You know, we don't expect actors not to say anything. It's dangerous. The play can go flat. You can lose the mood. Because seldom on television you ever get a moment of people just looking at each other, turning away or shaking their head. It can be wonderfully effective. There's some great moments in Shakespeare like that. Silence instead of the eloquent speech we're expecting. We get it here. Silence. Allie looks desolate, doesn't move. They're all three just standing there. Sam's trying to play daddy again. You're also therapist, isn't he? That bump, Holly. Mind your own business. I wasn't trying to interfere. Should we carry on? Let's get back to the writing the essay. Remember, that was the point. That was how Hallie got interested in dancing. Let's write that essay. Encourage Hallie to do his schoolwork. The winners have been announced. He's trying to bring Willie and Sam, now try to bring to life that scene of the dance contest again. Hallie, of course, gets up, rips up the essay. The next half page is all full of bloody bullshit, bloody fuck up, shit, fucking. All within half a page, right at the bottom of 15, top of 51. I'd emphasize, especially shocking in 1950 in a very conservative society, this young kid saying these things to very conservative adults. You know, these two men. Well, all right, Willie uses language like this. Willie and the kid are both acting like crude hotheads who can't act like civilized people. Sam trying to calm him down. We're all really cripples, broken spiders, there is no dancing, there is no music, it's the fuck up of life championships. We get complete obverse of what's just been pictured as an ideal. And what really gets sent, now Sam doesn't react to any of that, none of the dirty language. Oh, what you're talking about. Now why does Sam react so strong? One conservative, social type, just wrong, a son took his father. Why else?
He doesn't want Hallie to, I guess, lower himself or
say it. Sam's sternest words in the whole play. You mustn't do it. Take back those words and ask for forgiveness. It's a terrible sin for a father to mock his son to mock his father with jokes like that. You'll be punished. Please notice the language. Forgiveness, sin, punished. What realm are we in here in discourse? Where does that language come from, Jerry?
Jonathan Edwards.
Yeah, Jonathan Edwards, right? Stern, moral, religious language. Sure. This sin and punishment and forgiveness we're talking about is God's punishment or God's forgiveness, not just what the police are going to do or your dad's going to do. What about religion? Well, we've known from the beginning. Sam's a religious man, and of course, Hallie isn't at all. And even Willie comes in. Yes, Master Hallie is true. What's sad to say? We haven't had any of that from Willie. Hallie now turns on Sam and makes him a scapegoat. Now, we've had a little of that before, remember? Upset that Dad's coming home, whacking Willie on the ass, telling them both off, I haven't been stern enough with you fellas. It's time to get to work. Playing the little martinet, the white man in control. That feels stronger, much bigger here. At least that's foreshadowing of this, but way out of control here. Do what you're paid for. Mind your own fucking business. Do your bloody work. Clean, serve. My mother tells me you're too familiar. Sam, you're only a servant. My father, he's your boss. Please remember the word boss is an Afrikaner word. It is loaded with emotional intensity in the South African vocabulary. Much more than it is in this country. No, he isn't. I get paid by your mother. I don't have a boss, but I cow Tom too. He's a white man. It's good enough for you. I forget you said that. Don't. I want you to remember it. Sam steps in. Come on, don't do that. We're on dangerous ground. Sam turns away as Hallie bristles again. It's more insulting. Hallie wants neither confrontation with Sam nor Sam ignoring him. He just wants what he really wants from Sam. Sam to say, yes, boss, Mr. Boss Man, anything you say, boss massa, I's gwine do. That's the kind of behavior he wants. Don't turn your back on me. I hadn't finished. He grabs Sam by the arm. Now, this is where I think that video is nearly strong enough. I think Mazakas Motai turned him. I think there should be a real flash of temper. He grabs his arm and whip that arm away and go right into his face. This should be a really tense moment of an angry black man saying, "What bloody, don't you dare put your hands on me and treat me that way. Don't do that, Harry!" All right, I'm listening. Well, what do you want to say to me? You better watch your ass, kid. I think you better have a decisively different move there. I'm fed up now. I have to call you Master Harold. If you do, I'll never call you anything else, right? That will be a decisive separation between us. I will take from you what I've been giving you. Is that what I'm saying here? And Hallie lectures him like the white boss. Lesson in respect. Dad agrees with Mom. Teach the boys, 55, to show you more respect. Right out of American racism, of course. These guys are middle-aged men. Hallie's crude, vicious joke that Dad told him. What's not fair, a nigger's ass. Don't you get it? Is your vocabulary too small, Sam? No, it's not Sam's vocabulary. We get another passage about language. Or Willie, don't you get it? You always were a bit slow. Fair means both light in color and just and decent. Now Sam picks up those two phrases. So Sam says, why drag Willie in? He is trying to show you the respect you want so much. Top of the next page. That's also not being fair, you know, and I mean just or decent. To me, you're acting. You should have said Sam's ass. You want to see my ass? Now, on the video, when he drops his pants, he kind of keeps his legs together and goes like this. That's not the way you should do it. I'm waiting for a production where he drops his pants and sticks his ass in the kid's face. That's what we want obnoxious, revolting, shocking confrontation to the max. That's what we want. This is not nice, calm Sam. You want to reduce me to my backside, don't you? You don't want me to be a man who's got a face and expressive and language and articulation. You want to reduce me to just my butt. All right, I'm going to shove it right in your face. That's what you want. Here's what you get. And Hallie spits in his face. He's calm for the moment. You think you're safe inside your fair skin, and this time I don't mean just or decent. Using all his cleverness with language that he's partly learned from Hallie to show the kid how utterly mistaken it is to try to reduce him to a cartoon. And then another moment I don't think is nearly strong enough in the video. He's kept that all under control. Now he moves towards Hallie violently, stands over him and says, "Should I hit him, Willie?" Willie's really perturbed. Oh no, what's on? Why not? Help what's on? I don't want to help. I want to hurt him. Now, he should be right in his face like this. This is a big guy with a little, still a not fully grown kid. Hurt yourself. If he'd done it to you, Willie, Willie pulls himself up. Me? Spit at me like I was a dog? He turns and looks at Hallie. The two of them come at Hallie. Yeah, then I want to hit him. I want to hit him hard. I want both those guys lined up there with their fists clenched looking at him like the kid feeling, I'm about to be a dog. Any second now, I'll be in the Alpo camp. This is what can happen This is what black South Africa can do to white South Africa if just one thin line is crossed. And believe me, every South African who knows the play is feeling that. Remember my saying, from all through the 80s, it's been written in 82, all through the 80s, South Africans were leaving in droves, thinking the big storm is coming. The blacks are going to take over and we'll fry. There's going to be a Holocaust. That novel I mentioned, July's People, about that happening by Nadine Gordimer in 1981, the year before this flood. Sam now tells the rest of the story about the kite. That's the part we didn't get before. It's the part the boy has repressed. Don't you think we're getting a little example of Freudian repression here? All right, he wasn't 2, he was whatever, 8 or something. Funny, he didn't remember about that. Now maybe he was too young to get the point about the whites only bench. But you know this horrible, humiliating moment is burned in his mind. He just doesn't want to remember it. Sam makes him face this ghastly, humiliating moment in his past to make him cope with it and try to teach him something. It is exactly, of course, right, what Freudian analysts classically have done. Recover the moment from the repressed subconscious, that is the trauma, that's what Freud called it, right? Face it, accept it, deal with it rationally, and you can heal the psychic wounds. That's the classic formula of Freudian analysis. Where there is id or repressed consciousness, there will be ego. That's the job of civilization. I think that's what we're getting here. I'm going to make you face this. Now you can also say there's a little bit of revenge going on here too, but it's also a way of saying, for God's sake, have you forgotten what I did for you? Not only did I carry that man through the streets, you were so humiliated when he collapsed in the bar and shit his pants. I also remember how you looked as if you wanted to die. I know what you feel about your father. Despise him, he's weak, but you love him and you're ashamed of him. That's all together there, 58. You looked as if you owe the world an apology for being alive. I didn't like seeing that. That's not the way a boy grows to be a man. And a powerful line, right? I mean, this is Sam, called boy by whites, who's made damn sure he's grown to be a man. And he's trying desperately to get this white kid to be a man morally, not just being tough or something like that. The one person who should have been teaching you was the cause of your shame. That's why I made that kite. And that's not just saying, once I made a kite and that was to teach you. It's obviously what Sam's saying. Please remember, our whole relationship has been a matter of our teaching each other. Intellectually, linguistically, emotionally. Doesn't that mean anything to you? I wanted you to be proud of yourself. He's saying, and I'm a man who's insisted on being proud of myself, despite the fact that I'm constantly being told, you're shit. You don't count. You're nothing. You're a boy. Get down on your knees. Scrub that floor. The whites only bench. I had to leave. You can sit there. But now, Sam uses that as a metaphor. As he says to Hallie, look, you don't have to let it end like this in 59. Should we try again, Hallie? Fly another kite. Hallie's given up. It would mean nothing has been learned in here this afternoon. Bottom of the page. There was a hell of a lot of teaching going on, says Sam. And he finishes on 60 by saying, you don't have to sit up there by yourself. You know what that bench means now. You can leave it anytime you choose. Don't let yourself be a prisoner of these terrible things that have happened in your life. Don't let yourself be crippled by the fact that your father is a cripple, literally and emotionally and racially, in regard to racial things. Right? Don't let it happen. Choose to get off that whites only bench. Don't become a victim of apartheid. Don't be one of those weak people that practices racist oppression because it's the only way he can feel like he's a man. Choose another definition of what it means to be a man. Not say it. Well, one of the most poignant moments in the play. I thought this was very well done in the video. The boy's shoulders slump. He doesn't look at his old friend, picks up his valise and walks off with the plane. You know, there's nothing here, but on the stage, it's crucial. Pause, he walks out, Sam stares after him. And now Willie steps in to show his old friend that he has learned from what Sam has told him. If he's lost the boy, he has not lost Willie. Willie can change. Willie's heard the message. You know, you have a choice.